ENCOR Section 11 Summary Challenge Implementing NAT. Which option enables one public address to be used for multiple internal private hosts? This is PAT, Port Address Translation, also known as NAT overload. You have a web server with a private IP address within your network. You want users from the internet to access it. Which type of NAT do you use? What we will have to do, we'll have to expose this inside local address of the server into a fixed inside global address through the NAT translation. And to be able to do that, we will be using static network address translation. You enter the show IPNet translations command and don't see any translations. You are worried that there is a problem. What would be the most appropriate action to test the NAT operation? Okay, let's see the options. Issue a ping from a device inside the network that should be translated. That looks okay. This is something I would do to check whether translation is actually working. Verify the running configuration to find the configuration error. Well, could be done as well, but it's generally not a very reliable practice to just read through the configuration, just trying to find errors by eye. Issue a ping from the router to any IP address in the outside network. This doesn't have anything to do with the translation. This will just check the connectivity from the router outbound interface to the outside network. And another one, issue a traceroute from the router to any IP address in the outside network. It is the same as the previous option. So I will keep option 1. Just try to ping it and see what happens. You issue the command clear IP NAT translation star. Clear IP NAT translation basically clears all the dynamic translations which are there in the NAT address table, NAT table. However, the translation table still displays NAT entries. Which two reasons can possibly cause this issue? Okay, these entries, they are probably either statically configured, so they are just sitting there statically configured, or after we have cleared something happened very, very quickly, and these records, they were re-added by that process. Okay, let's see the options. The translations are still in use by a host. Well, actually, I don't think. Well, it depends on how host uses them. I mean, if host actively recreates this translation, I think this could be a good option, right? This is exactly my example of a continuous operation, continuous use of the network address translation, which would just basically recreate these dynamic records. The command is not correct. Actually, it is. PAT entries constantly remain in the translation table. This is not correct. Static entries constantly remain in the translation table, and this is the correct option as well. And let's just check the final one. Static entries never remain in the translation table, but must be refreshed. This means nothing at all. So these two options are fine. What is the difference between static NAT and dynamic NAT? Static NAT maps one to one, and dynamic NAT maps one to many. I don't think this is correct. Static NAT maps one to many. No, it doesn't. Static NAT maps one to one, and dynamic NAT maps many to many. Yes, this is the correct option. I keep thinking of PAT as also kind of being dynamic NAT. However, just strictly considering the terminology, dynamic NAT without PAT is just you have a certain amount of addresses and outside, right? And then you just basically a certain amount of global addresses, and you translate a certain amount of local addresses into the global addresses, pulling these addresses from the pool. Question 6. Which translation technology would typically be used at home, especially for connecting devices such as tablets, phones, and PCs through a cable internet connection? This will be PAT, or Net Over Load. It allows many different hosts to use one and only one global IP address on the outbound interface of the router. Which command will display which router interfaces are configured as net inside interfaces? This will be the show IP NAT statistics command. Okay. Show IP NAT translations just shows the translation table. Show IP interface command, it's very verbosely shows all the basic information regarding IP protocol on all the interfaces. And show IP NAT interfaces command, I do not believe this is a real one. I think it's a bogus command. So show IP NAT statistics is the answer.